Next up, we have the bishops on the board. There are two bishops for each side, and these two bishops are like two brothers whose paths never cross each other. Why do I say so? Well, the bishops move in diagonals. So you will see that if this bishop starts on a light square, it will always keep moving on the light square. While if this bishop starts on the dark square, it will always keep moving on the dark squares. So their paths never meet. Okay, let me give you an example of how the bishop moves. This is a light squared bishop. It moves in diagonals. It moves like this, like this, like this, and like this. So it goes forward diagonally, also backwards diagonally. How does it capture? It also captures diagonally. So here's a position for you to solve. Which of the pawns can the bishop capture? Well, I hope you mentioned the one on g6 here, because the bishop moves diagonally and can capture the pawn, and it cannot take this one because it's its own pawn. A bishop cannot capture its own pawn. Here's another position. I'm going to use two black bishops, and there are two pawns in this position. Try to figure out how will you capture these two pawns with the bishops. Firstly, you use your bishop here and capture the pawn on c6. It's on light square. And with this bishop, you capture the pawn on g7. So that's how bishops capture. Now here's another position for you. The question is, can the bishop capture the pawn on g7? Is it possible to take this pawn? Well, not on this move, because the bishop cannot jump over like the knight. The knight can jump over. The bishop has to take this pawn, and then black plays something, and then it can capture that pawn later. Your task in this position is to use the white bishop on every move and capture all of the black pawns. Can you do it? Well, the first move is to capture this pawn here. The second move is to capture this pawn on d4. Then you capture the one on b6. Then the one on c7. And finally, the last one on g3. That's how the bishop could clean the entire board. Now remember that in chess, one move is played by white, the other move is played by black. But right now, for illustrative purposes, I showed only the moves from one side and to show you how the bishop moves. I hope you remember this. The bishops move in diagonals, and both sides have two bishops which are both moving on different colored squares. This is Sagar Shah signing off. Bye bye.